You are listening to the Intelligent Vocalist Podcast, episode 74.
Welcome to the Intelligent Vocalist with John Henny. This is the podcast dedicated to help you be a smarter, better, more informed singer. And now, your host for the Intelligent Vocalist, John Henny.
Hey there, this is John Henny. Welcome back to another edition of The Intelligent Vocalist. I do so appreciate you spending your precious time with me. I'm pretty excited today. I'm usually kind of up and peppy when I do these podcasts, but today I'm kind of bouncing in my seat because I have my new book currently being read by a group of test readers who are combing through to catch any remaining typos, give me any comments, make sure that the flow of information makes sense. And very, very soon, I will be releasing my book to all of you. And I really, really can't wait. The title of the book is, drumroll, Teaching Contemporary Singing. So the book is written for those of you who are thinking about teaching voice. Maybe you've started teaching some friends and you'd like to look and see how to do this. And I've taken my teacher trainings and I've put them into book form. And also, if you are maybe already teaching voice, but just want some more insight into teaching contemporary styles as opposed to classical singing. So that's who the book is aimed at. And even if you're a singer, there are insights in there for you as well as to how the voice works, etc. So the book will be available on Amazon for the Kindle, also a print version, and I am planning on doing an audiobook version as well. So the whole process has been a learning experience that I'm really, really enjoying. And it's kind of amazing for all my early morning sitting by myself, typing away before the sun comes up, because that's when I do my best writing, and it's just all coming together, and I'm just really, really excited. So it will be coming your way soon. I will be announcing it here. If you want to be among the first to know, and I will certainly let you know, there will be opportunities to get the book on sale rather cheaply. Join my email list. Go to johnhenny.com, JOHNHENNY, and you'll see the little box there to get on the email list. Sign up for that because my email list is always the first to know when things like that are going on. All right, today I want to talk about ear training your ears, but not in the typical way of learning to recognize intervals and chord sequences, etc. That is very, very important, but I want to talk about really learning to listen and to listen deeply so that you can respond as a singer to the music around you on a deeper level. Musicians are very good at this. Producers are very good at this. I remember when I was playing drums, and I played drums quite a lot. I actually made my living as a drummer my late teens through my 20s. As I started teaching, segueing into teaching, but I did a lot of drumming. And as I became a more and more experienced musician, my head, my brain, my focus became less and less about what I was playing and more about what others were playing around me. And I was responding and communicating to the music around me rather than being focused on myself. Now, singing is really, really tricky because I think other instruments, it's a bit easier to go on autopilot than it is on singing. Singing tends to take more of your brain bandwidth than other instruments. If you want to argue with me about that, that's fine, but that's my experience. And when people play and sing, if you're playing guitar and singing, and I used to play drums and sing, the drums would need to be on autopilot because I would need to focus on the balance for the notes and the intonation because it's not a fixed instrument. I mean, I'm controlling these muscles I really don't have conscious awareness of to get the correct pitch and text, trying to remember the words, all of these. So the act of singing it's incredibly easy to just become focused on yourself. And other musicians will often tell you that singers are always focused on themselves. But putting lead singer disease aside, the bandwidth, again, is pretty wide for singing. So we have to develop the ability to not only control and monitor all of the complex balances of singing and the communication, but to also get our awareness net wider. We need to cast a very, very wide net because ultimately we are the ones that the audience is focusing on. When people listen to music, they will listen to the voice first, and then everything else kind of blurs into this cloud that accompanies the singer. And when you add on the fact that we are often, when we're performing, the visual focus, and we have to perform and connect with the audience on that way, there is a lot going on. And your attention and your focus is one of your absolute primary tools that you need to improve. So I want to talk about a few ways that you can begin to improve your attention and your focus. And these are things that I do. And what's great is you can do them wherever you are. You don't need to be listening to music. And I'll tell you what I mean. We've all had or continue to have the experience of standing in line at the store. And it is often a horribly boring thing. None of us enjoys it. We all tend to just take out our phones and just start allowing our brains to jump around on the stimulus addicting nonsense that's out there and the clickbait. And some of it's legit. We got to do work, but most of it, we're just wasting time. And I'm going to tell you, I think that this time can be better spent. And what you should do the next time you find yourself waiting in line is to just listen. And I want you to cast this listening net as wide as you can. And I want you to see how many sounds you can hear at once. And I mean everything from conversations around you to the clicking of cash registers to the background music, and just absorb and see if you can just allow all of that to be in your awareness at once. And if certain things start jumping out at you, don't fight it. Just allow whatever's going to pop up at you to pop up, and then see as that fades away if you can go back to listening to the totality. And then I want you to pick a single sound, and I want you to filter that out of all the other ambient noise that's going on and see if you can just track that sound and allow that to be your primary focus. And then go back to listening to everything again, and then pick another sound and pull that out of the murky blend of everything around you and focus on that. And the idea is you're training your focus to be wide and narrow. And that's what you're going to want to do as a singer, is at certain times you're going to cast your awareness wide and you're going to hear the totality of everything that's going on musically. And then at times you may need to just focus down and just listen to one specific instrument or just one specific element that's occurring in the song, depending on what it is that you need to do. Maybe you're entering a tricky part and you're waiting for a specific cue, or you know the guitarist is going to play a specific riff that's going to be your entryway to coming back in, or maybe you really, really want to lock in with the drummer because the song is pretty syncopated and you don't want to be out of sync with the rest of the musicians. And then you maybe go back to your wider focus and you're bringing everything in, and that's going to allow you to choose how you're going to express yourself emotionally, the texture of the voice, the shaping of the vowel, if you are going to be crescendoing or pulling back. all of these things, how long you hold the note. It's vitally, vitally important that you be completely immersed in everything around you and not just locked into yourself, not just having this single focus. And yeah, there will be times when a note comes up where you're going to have to then pull back in your focus toward yourself because you know that this note is tricky and you're going to have to make sure that the vowel's formed right and you don't over muscle and you don't push too much air, whatever it is you need to do and that you've worked on, you're available for that, and then be able to instantly go back into the wider net. And the other thing that you want to learn to do is as you are practicing this focus, you stop other thoughts from coming in. And you can't stop thoughts. You almost don't control them in that sense. There was a great experiment somebody was doing. I was listening to a lecture, and the person said, I'll do it with you. And the person said, okay, I want you to think of a movie, any movie that you've seen. Go ahead. Now think of another movie. Now think of another movie. I would bet you the movies that came to mind were not what you would have expected. They may have been your favorite films, but they may not have been your favorite films. When I did this, I was remembering just these bizarre, obscure movies that I hadn't thought about in years, even movies that I didn't necessarily like. And it's because as thoughts spring upon us, we don't have the capacity to think the thought before we think it. That's impossible, right? So thoughts just present themselves to us. And that becomes a problem in performance if random thoughts start to come in and distract us from the job of communicating emotionally, communicating with the other musicians and communicating with the audience. So in being able to do that by directing your focus, you stand a better chance of just keeping these random thoughts out of the way. I mean, anybody who's being honest, who has performed, there are times when you're performing where maybe you start thinking, what am I going to have for dinner tonight? Or, oh man, I forgot to put air in my tire. I mean, these random thoughts are going to come in. And those don't help us. Those don't serve us. Or it may start the self-critic. Boy, I'm not sounding very good tonight. This kind of sucks. I mean, the self-critic, and I've talked about this before, but it's your own inner dialogue is probably the rudest, most vicious, horrible person you will ever meet. I mean, you say things to yourself that no one else would say. People say far, far less about you, and you're furious, and yet you say these things to yourself, and it's just all part of your inner dialogue. And so we can put this inner dialogue at bay by learning to focus our attention. And then you can take this to music. The next time you are listening to music, I want you to just pick a song, one song, and listen through it one time with a wide focus. Try and hear everything all at once. The bass, the keyboard pads, any percussion, guitar, the vocals, background vocals. In modern production, there are so many layers and layers of sounds. And as you begin to cast your awareness and see what new sounds you can pick up that maybe you haven't noticed before, and then listen to it again and focus only on the bass track to the exclusion of everything else. Just let that stand up in relief to you and follow that bass track. Let the bass come to you and follow that from the beginning of the song to the end of the song. And then choose the drums. And then finally choose the lead vocal. And let that lead vocal, and I mean every part of that lead vocal, the texture of the voice, the way that consonants are pronounced, whether they're allowed to be a little bit softer or whether the singer punches them a little bit harder, how long they hold out notes, if they have vibrato, how they approach high notes, how are they shading the vowels, and really, really hear as many details and nuances as possible. And then try the backup vocals. See if you can just pick out one voice within that, maybe the high part or the low part. And if you're really, really good, find the middle part and work the song that way. See how precisely you can direct your focus. And then listen to the song again with a wide focus and hear everything again and see if it's not a little bit deeper. And then when you go to sing a song, if you're using a backing track, a karaoke track, really hear the track. Listen to the track more than you listen to yourself. Cast that wide focus and allow yourself to respond to what it is that you're hearing and get in a communication and a dialogue. And if you're in the position to work with live musicians, oh, that's even more beautiful, because then you can really begin reacting in the moment, which is one of the true magic experiences of singing and of making music. But allow the other musicians to occupy more of your focus than yourself. See if you can begin to diminish to the point where you're really just experiencing what everyone else is doing and you're reacting to what they're doing in real time and with human empathy and human connection. That's really where you want to be. You almost can't be a good enough listener. You can't connect deeply enough. There's always more earth to be dug up. There's always more riches there. And the more that you can get into just this Zen state of being completely in the musical moment and experiencing that music, reacting to that music, expressing yourself, giving of that energy, and then accepting the energy back, you're going to get into some beautiful, beautiful stuff. Even if you don't sing perfectly, even if you're a little pitchy here and there, no one will care because now you're creating magic. And that's why people listen to magic. People turn on music, people drive and show up to shows because they want to feel some kind of way. They're not coming to listen to you sing perfectly. There are areas of music where that's more important, and there are listeners who kind of listen to music in that way, but most of us just want an emotional connection. We want to be pulled out of our own internal dialogue, to be pulled into the moment, and to be part of that expression and that connection that you are finding, and it becomes this communal experience. So go try those. Experiment with your focus. And if at first you have trouble picking something out and following it and thoughts begin to intrude, that's okay. It really is the awareness of starting to do this. It's much like beginning to meditate. It's not that the thoughts won't come. It's just that when the distractions come and you catch yourself and you bring yourself back, that's like one rep on the dumbbell. You're building this muscle. You're building this focus muscle. So go out, experiment with that. Let me know how that goes. And hey, I want to thank you again for spending this time with me. If you want to find out more about me, again, my website is johnhenny.com. You can always email me, john@johnhenny.com. I do try and answer all of my email personally. If you are interested in studying with me, you can reach out to frontdesk@johnhenny.com. I have been told by my front desk person there are 2 slots available for my monthly commitment challenge. As of right now, this will be going out, it's February 2019. This is probably going out about, I think, on the 19th of February. So as of the 19th of February, there are 2 slots open. If you commit to studying with me on a weekly, regular basis, I will offer you a pretty significant discount in my rates. I put aside a small portion of my teaching schedule to do this, and I'm just really enjoying working with people who are able to commit and focus and work towards sustained vocal improvement. So until next time, to better singing. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.